Hello everyone, I'm Norm from SliceMaker Soft. Today I'd like to teach you how to create a web page with SliceMaker product. This is the web page we want to create. This is the navigation section. This is the banner section. This is the first main section. This is the second main section. And this is the footer section. With SliceMaker product, you can easily create this kind of web page, even if you are unfamiliar with programming. Let's start creating the web page now. Firstly, let's do some basic settings. Step 1. Import the design image into SliceMaker product. We will convert the imported design image to a web page. Step 2. In Tools, Options, Basic, click this button to select or create a file folder to save the web page we will create. Remember that the file folder's name is Example. Step 3. Let's add title, keywords, and description to the web page we want to create. Step 4. Name the web page and then select language. Okay, we have completed the basic settings. Now let's create the web page. We can zoom out the imported design image for convenient design. Firstly, let's create the navigation section. Create number 1 slice to contain the whole navigation section. Select number 1 slice, and then add background repeat X attribute to it, and set it as 100% white. Now let's click the Generate button to see the result. As we can see, the background of the navigation has been created. We can also click the Browse button to find the generated web page, and then use the web browser to preview it. Create number 2 slice to center the logo and the navigation bar. Create number 3 slice to contain the logo. Select it, add the image attribute to it, and then add a link to it. Now let's click the Generate button to see the result. As we can see, the logo has been created. Create number 4 slice to contain the navigation bar. Select it and then add sliding door attribute to it. Tick the box to set number 4 slice and sliding door effect. Select the direction for the navigation bar on the top. Set the leading width and 0 pixel. Leading width defines the space between the leftmost border and the first navigation item. Now let's add the navigation items. Home, Products, Buy Now, and content. And links to the navigation items respectively. Click Save button to save the changes, and then close the dialog. Firstly, let's add styles for the selected navigation items. Select the font color for the selected navigation items. And then set the font size for the selected navigation items. And last, we can add background image or background color for the selected navigation items. Because the selected navigation items have an underlying background image, so we should add background image to the selected navigation items. Then, how to add background image to the selected navigation items? Firstly, let's create a slice containing one of the selected navigation items. Select this slice and then right-click your mouse to export the slice as a background image. Delete this slice and then reselect the number 4 slice. We will add the exported background image for the selected navigation items. Before adding the exported background image, we should open the exported background image with an image editing software to remove the text on it. And then click the mouse icon to add the exported background image. That's all. Now, let's add styles for the unselected navigation items. Set the font color and font size for the unselected navigation items. Because the unselected navigation items don't have background image but only have background color, so we can only add a background color for the unselected navigation items. Next, let's set the spacing style. The spacing style defines the spacing width and spacing style between every two navigation items. We can set the spacing width as 20 pixels. And then add a background color between every two navigation items. Now let's set the width, height, and padding top attributes for every navigation items. The width and height values actually are the same as the width and height values of the exported background image. As we can see, the width is 122 pixels, and the height is 47 pixels. Padding top defines the space between the topmost border and the text within each navigation item. We can set it as 4 pixels. And last, we should see the right side of the navigation bar. We just need to add a background color to the right side of the navigation bar. Okay, let's click the Generate button to see the result. As we can see, the navigation bar has already been created. After creating the navigation section, now let's create the banner section. Firstly, create number 6 slice contain the whole banner section. Select the slice. Add background repeat X attribute to it and set it as 100% white. Now let's click the Generate button to see the result. As we can see, the background of the banner section has been created. Create number 7 slide to center the contents within the banner section. Now let's create number 8 slides to contain the banner image. Select number 8 slice and then pick the box to set it as image switching effect. Select an image switching mode. Prepare several images and then save them to the file folder named as example. Click the Add Image button to add the saved images. Add links to the images. Okay, now let's click the Generate button to see the result. As we can see, the image switching effect has been created. Now let's create the main section. Create number 9 slides to contain this content part. And then we can add contents to this part one by one. Firstly, create number 10 slides to contain this content part. Divide this content part into two parts, the title part and the description part. Add an image attribute to the title part, and text to the description part. Now let's click the Generate button to see the results. As we can see, the content part has already been created. Okay, now let's create these parts. Firstly, let's create a slide to contain this part. Divide this content part into two parts, the title part and the list part. and the image attribute to the first part. For the second part, we can first zoom in the design image for better design. We just need to create one list item and then copy and paste it. Create a slice contain the first list item. Divide the list item into two parts, the icon part and the text part. Set the icon as background, and then add text to the text part. Now let's click the Generate button to see the result. As we can see, the first list item has been created. Now let's copy the created list item and then paste it. Please hold the Shift button and then click the three slices to copy them, and then paste them. Press the down arrow key to place the copied slices properly. Okay, we have finished copying and pasting the slices. Now let's click the Generate button to see the result. As we can see, all the list items have been created. Now let's create this part. Firstly, let's create a slice to contain this part. And then divide this part into three parts, the title part, the text part, and the image part. And the image attribute to the first part, and text to the second part. And the image attribute to the third part. Now let's click the Generate button to see the result. As we can see, this part has been created. Next, let's create this part. First, they create a slice containing this part. And then divide this part into three parts. and the image attribute to the first part, and text to the second part. For the third part, we just need to create one list item and then copy and paste it. Divide the list item into two parts, the icon part and the text part. And background attribute to the icon part. And text to the second part. Now let's click the Generate button to see the results. We can add a link to the created list item. Then click the Generate button to see the results. As we can see, the link has been added. Now let's copy the created list item and then paste it. Please hold the Shift button and then click the three slices to copy them. And then paste them. Press the down arrow key to place the copied slices properly. Now let's click the Generate button to see the result. As we can see, all the list items have been created. Now let's create the user review part. Firstly, let's create a slice to contain the whole part. Divide the user review part into two parts, the review contents and the commenter. Select the first part and then add the review contents to it. Set the font size and font color for the review contents. Select the second part and then add the commenter's name. Set the font size for the commenter's name. Now let's click the Generate button to see the result. As we can see, the review part has been created. Now let's create this part. Firstly, create a slice to contain the whole part. and then divide this part into two parts, the left part and the right part. The left part should be divided into two parts, the title part and the contents part. Select the title part and then add your title here. Select the contents part and then add your contents here. Now let's click the Generate button to see the result. As we can see, the left part has been created. However, we forgot to set the font size for the title. Now let's set the font size for the title. Now let's click the Generate button to see the result again. As we can see, the left part has been already created. We can use the same way to create the right part. Now let's click the Generate button to see the result. As we can see, the right part has been created. After creating the main section, now let's create the first footer section. Firstly, let's zoom in the design image for convenient design. Now create the slides to contain the whole section. Select these slides and then add background repeat X attribute to it and set it as 100% width. Now let's click the Generate button to see the result. As we can see, the background of this section has been created. After creating the background, we should create a slice to center the contents within this section. And then we can add the contents one by one. Firstly, let's create a slice to contain this contents part. We can zoom in the design image for convenient design. And then divide this contents part into three parts. Create the first slice to contain the title. Create the second slice to contain the spacing line. Create the third slice to contain the text link 1. and the image attribute to the first slice, and background attribute to the second slice, and text and link to the third slice. Now let's click the Generate button to see the result. Then let's add more test links by copying the created test link. Now let's click the Generate button to see the result. Next, let's create this content part. Firstly, let's create a slice containing this content part. Because the structure of this content part is the same with the structure of this content part, so we can copy the structure of this content part to this part. Firstly, let's select this big slice. Then right-click your mouse in this area. Select this option to select all the slices within the big slice. Then please hold the Shift button and then click the big slice to unselect the big slice. Copy the selected slices within the big slice. Click this big slice. And then right-click your mouse to paste the copied slices into it. Now let's click the Generate button to see the result. As we can see, this content part has been created. Now let's use the same way to create this content part. Now let's click the Generate button to see the results. As we can see, this content part has been created. Now let's create the last part within the first footer section. Firstly, create a slice containing this part. Divide this part into 3 parts. And an image attribute to the first part. Create several slices containing the social network icons respectively. And links to the social network icons. Then hold Shift button to select all of them and then add image attributes to them. Now let's click the Generate button to see the results. As we can see, we have added the social network icons. Now let's create the subscription part. Divide the subscription part into 2 parts, the input field and the bottom part. For the input field, we should firstly add a background color to it. And then switch to the Control tab. Tick this option to add text box attribute to the input field. Add the control ID and the control name. Then enter prompt here. For the button, we can select it and then add image button attributes to it. Now let's click the Generate button to see the result. As we can see, the subscription part has been created. Now let's create the last section, the second footer section. Firstly, we can zoom out the design image for convenient design. And then create a slice to contain the whole section. Create another slice to contain the copyright text. Select this slice and then add the copyright text to it. That's all. Now let's click the Generate button to see the result. As we can see, the whole section has been created. Okay, by now we have finished creating the web page. It is not difficult, right? And now, thanks very much for watching this video tutorial.